we continue with our class, other people's money, and this session and all of them should be dedicated to Refuah Shlema of our dear Rabbi Yaron Ruven Shlita. His name is Yaron Ben Doris. Also to Yehudis Bas Noach, Ariel Ora Basana, Yemim Rosirachel Bas Brandel, David Shlomo Ben Sandra. Also a quick release of our dear friend Moshe Shmuel Ben Pnina. Bezras Hashem. Alright, so we continue with our class, Others People Money, and we on what is it? On the chapter now. Topic is different forms of stealing. Okay, section 8. Okay, so next one is a form from a family member, close friend and spouse. So meaning. Right, even from the title, you understand. Maybe these people would not object so much, and they would not be angry with us. Okay, so again, taking something without consent from the parent, brother, sister, other family members, or close relatives is considered stealing. However, if in the past one regularly took this type of item from the family member or friend, with the owner's approval, it is not considered stealing. And when he now takes it without the owner permission, right? When he now takes without owner permission, right? So meaning, okay, we're going to explain what does it mean. On the other hand, if it was not practiced to such an item, on the other hand, if it was not his practice to take such item, even if he's sure that the relative or friend will be happy to give it to him, and in fact the owner subsequently does consent, nevertheless, since it was taken without the owner's knowledge, it is considered stealing according to the most poskim. Let's see if continuation. No, that's it. So let's work with this material. That's more than enough. Okay, so now we're talking about taking from somebody who is close to us, and most likely a person would not mind, and if we ask, that person would consent. Okay. Okay, so let's do from the beginner's commentary, but when I was reading, the thing came to my mind, but the first reaction of this person would be that somebody stole it from him. And how do you know somebody close to them took it? Maybe he left something on his porch or something, and comes back home and it's not there. Possible. Okay, so let's see from the beginning, and we see the commentaries. Taking something without consent from a parent, brother, sister, other family member, or close friends is considered stealing. Okay. So meaning the definition of stealing, taking something without their consent. So he is saying about these people who are close to us and would forgive us even if we steal, I guess, right? So meaning it is stealing nevertheless. However, if in the past one regularly took this item, right, this specific item, from the family members or friend with the owner's approval, it is not considered stealing. Right, it's not considered when he takes it without the owner's permission. So we're going to see the commentary now. So taking without approval, problem. Taking something without approval, but it was like a person borrowed this thing before with the person's approval. So most likely when the person comes and see the item is not there, he would suspect that she would suspect that somebody close to them took it again, right? It's not considered to be stealing. So meaning that person, since the person since the person approved before, so most likely he has approved now. So for example, I remember when I was working in an office, and like in different offices, taking a bus, two trains in the bus. It's very interesting. So 2 trains in the bus, and right, it's a long distance bus, right? And long distance bus we buy like a monthly path. It's much cheaper, much cheaper. So this guy said, no, don't show me the pass. I know you. You're good morning. I know you, like a few people. So you don't have to show them. But other people who would not pay, would not have a ticket, he would stop and say, where is your ticket, right? Understand? Or you pay now, or go buy from that place, right? From a cashier. So he is very interested. So meaning, since he knows us, and sometimes he would say, no, I know you bought the pass. Don't worry, don't go. Like a very friendly guy. So meaning, even on the first of the next month, he would not check the pass. Of course, we buy the pass. Like nobody. Like what if it's going to be different driver? No, nobody's missed their job or being late because of the monthly pass. So here's in some senses thing like that person allowed us to take this item, whatever was it before, right? Somebody that close to us. I mean, this guy was not close, but he was very friendly. Baruch Hashem. Right? So it's like, so it's not considered to be stealing. Okay. Rather, it is as the owner pre-consent to give it to him. So it's very good clarification. Pre-consent, meaning that, right. So I guess we have to take into consideration our relationships. If our relationship did not change, right? But maybe back there we were friends or something. Now, right? Not so much. So maybe in this case he would object. Okay. Right. Right. So now again, so if we borrow this thing from the past, and with our owner's approval, so it's not considered to be stealing, right? When he takes without owner's permission because it was pre-consent. Okay. For example, Reuven, I like the spelling of Reuven. Regularly visits his brother and helps himself with to food, with his brother's permission. One day, Reuven stopped at his brother's home for a snack, but no one was home. He let himself in and helped himself to food from refrigerator. Since it was Reuven's regular routine to take food from his brother, it could be presumed that he had his brother consent at the time he took the food. Okay, so I mean, my mind always like works like practically. So most likely he did not have a key, maybe like combination lock. Right? He knew the combination number. Okay. So he stopped by his brother, or he had the key, I don't know. Right? And he decided to eat from the brother's refrigerator. Okay. So meaning this brother allowed him before, so now, maybe he said to his brother, I'm going to your place now. Said, okay, no problem. And he ate the food. Okay, so meaning, that's a very good example, classic example. Okay, continue. On the other hand, if it was not his practice to take such an item, so meaning that we're talking about same person, but different item. Right, this item they took before, like this food. For example, he took the brother's food, right? The brother never mind, but now he took the brother's bicycle, and we had a neighbor downstairs, and he told me, he said, how much he was waiting for a package. He said, can you sign for me? I said, okay, I can sign. He said, but please make sure that you take it home. Don't leave it outside. Like he gave me the whole speech. I said, well, what is it, diamonds or something? He said, no, it's tires. Like, what is it, the wheels for his bicycle. He said, how much is one wheel? I don't know how much is. He said, it's $700 a wheel. I don't know how much is a bicycle, but that's what he said. So meaning, if the food, yogurt from his refrigerator, there is no problem. But a bicycle like this, I'm not sure how much is a bicycle if this wheels cost us so much. You understand? So it would be very, right? So he would be very upset, right? If somebody even his brother, food yes, yogurt yes, chicken yes, salad yes, but bicycle don't touch. So that's also like a very practical example. Even he right. So again, on the other hand, if it was not his practice to take such an item, even if he's sure that a relative or a friend will be happy to give it to him. So I mean, how do I know? How do I know? Okay. And in fact, owner subsequently does consent. Okay, so we said does consent. Nevertheless, since it was taken without owner's knowledge, it is considered stealing according to the most poskim. Right. Right. So in my cases, I say that in my example, maybe it was more extreme that we're not sure that person would allow. Maybe yes, maybe no, because it's a very expensive item. But here they say even if he knows that most likely that after the fact the owner would agree. I mean, some people, as we said before, they would be embarrassed not to agree and not to provide their services. Right, is from the gate of what is it? Busha, I think. Okay. So continue. Right. So meaning he agreed after the fact. Right. Even if you know that, even if he agreed after the fact, still it is stealing. Okay. According to some poskim, most poskim. Commentary. Shimon wanted to borrow money from his brother, but no one was home. He let himself into the brother's house and helped himself to money with intention to inform his brother later that day. When Shimon's brother found out about the money, he expressed delight and said that he had been home. He would have insisted on Shimon take even more than he took. It was not Shimon's practice to take the money from his brother. Therefore, since the money was taken without brother's knowledge, even though Shimon's brother subsequently consented, nevertheless it is considered stealing. So that's a very interesting example. Some siblings they have this close relationship. Some siblings fight non-stop, right? But some have this close relationship. So one I guess the younger one went to the older one house, and he knew when the brother keeps cash, so he took cash and then informed this other brother, and this brother said, "Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'm glad that you did not go to the bank. You did not borrow from somebody else. Yeah, no problem." Right. So he said, "If I would have been home, I would given you even more." Right. But since initially he took it without consent, and it was not his practice, so it's considered to be stealing. And who knows? As I said, many people would agree or say something out of embarrassment not to say. It's after the fact. He already took it. You understand? It's not like you have a choice. Of course, there is some people who looking for a fight. They say, "Yeah, why should have done that," and stuff like that. But other people, normal people, would feel embarrassed. Okay, it's after the fact. He said he's going to pay back, or whatever we need to do. Yes, change the lock and start locking your cash somewhere else. Okay, that's very interesting. So continue. So and now we have a sub case. And a sub case is a title taken from a spouse. Right. So a spouse, right? If you share the same things, so it's taken from yourself. But do they always agree? Okay. Let's see. The prohibition of stealing from a family member is applied to a spouse as well. A husband may not take his wife's personal property. For example, give away an article of your jewelry or clothing without her consent. I don't know, that's a stupid husband, I think. A wife may not take or give away the husband's assets without his consent. For example, she may not give amount a charity that is more than her husband would approve. Okay, that's a famous one. We spoke about it before. A fundraiser soliciting money from a married woman may not accept a larger than normal donation. For example, then a person of financial stand will commonly allow their wives to donate. However, if the woman says that she is authorized by her husband to give the donation, the money may be accepted. Okay, so actually some of the things, if you remember, we covered in our class laws of tzedakah and maser. So we're going to expand on it. Bezras Hashem. So again, taken from a spouse. So just because a spouse, and just because, for example, this husband bought her this jewelry or he bought her this clothing, does not mean that he can do whatever they want. He gave it to her; it's hers, right? So he cannot just give somebody without her consent. So today we have cell phones. Right? It's easy, like that doesn't matter where are you. You can call and ask or text. For example, another person cannot talk; they're at work or something, but they can see the text and reply yes or no. Right? So it's much easier. But in olden days, maybe I don't know, like 20 years, maybe more than 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. So no cell phones. Okay. So again, the husband may not take his wife's personal property. For example, give away the article of her jewelry. Yeah, she said, I don't like it any longer. I this and that. Okay, that's what she said. Right? She said, but she did never mention that she wants to give it away. Right? Maybe she does not like with this dress, but she was going to use with the other dress. Like, so don't take whatever wife said about the thing literally. So she does not like it. So meaning maybe she does not like for a day, but does not mean that she gave up the ownership or something. Okay. So clothing without her consent, it's absolutely forbidden. So it's considered to be stealing. Yeah, but he said, yeah, what's stealing? I bought for my own money. She's part of me. Yeah, she's part of you. She's but still it's hers. Okay. And the next one, a wife may not take or give away her husband's assets without his consent. Right, and the most famous one is charity. So she's a housewife, let's say, and he's working, and and he said that you're allowed to give only $2. So if every guy that charity collector that comes, she said $2 is embarrassment. Okay, look. I'm working hard. We have to pay for this. We have to pay for that. $2 I can afford. And she said, I want to give 10. She said, no, 10 is too much for me. It's too much. I don't allow you to give 10. So and she said she has a good heart and she has a warm heart. And now this guy, the collector, come and he said it's for his daughter and she has a surgery. This and that. It's true or not? That's a different story. Like many stories are not shown, and they have a letter and signed, and like in a plastic, and it is fake signature, fake letters. Okay, so that's you have to always pray not to be a prey of this victim, right? Of these crooks. Okay, all right. So meaning she wants to give more, right? So if she knows that he would not agree. She has no right to do that, right? Right, without his approval. So meaning if he would come from work and she say, I know you told me only $2 to each guy, but now I had to this case was so appealing to me and I gave 10. So if he would forgive, there is no problem. And he said, okay, it's some exceptional case, but otherwise, she absolutely forbidden. It's stealing from him. Absolutely, yeah. A person might say, yeah, well, but I'm doing mitzvah on his behalf. No, there is not mitzvah. If he is objecting, there is not mitzvah. Okay. So now we will look in this thing from another perspective, from perspective of the fundraiser. So is he allowed to accept this money from a married woman? So if a woman is not married and it's her own money, she can do whatever she wants with it. If she wants to give 100, she can give 100. It's her own business. She wants to sponsor the whole thing and give 10,000, she can give 10,000. I mean, maybe it's not advisable, maybe it's a little too much, but anyway, right? But when she's married, so now all of the money belongs to husband. So he's the owner of the money, unless they have work out some deal, and it's actually written in Ksuba that he's not obligated to provide her. Right, 3 things that she can forgo. Right, meaning food and food, clothing, and roof above your head. Right, but she cannot forgo the marital relations. Right, but two of these things, Mizoinus, she can she can forgo. Meaning, she's going to work. She's going to have business. Her father gave her business or something. So she's going to run this business. She's going to provide. So meaning she's going to provide, and she said, "My dear husband, you don't have to provide me. There is no problem." So now it's her money, right? It's officially her money. She can do whatever she wants. But if they did not have this agreement, so even though she works and he's in the call and she works 3 jobs or something, right? So he's still owner of the money. She's not allowed to do anything with the money without his consent. Okay. And I'm not sure if it's so simple to change it afterwards without his agreement. I don't think so. Right. Okay. So meaning this fundraiser is not allowed to take money because now he's going to be a thief to take money from this woman because she took it without consent of the husband, right? So it says if if it's larger than normal donation, there is more than a person of financial status will commonly allow their wives to donate. Meaning you go, you know the neighborhoods, how much the rents are, and people in this neighborhood, they working people, not working people. But I think maybe I'm just thinking maybe it's like in somewhere like in the suburbs, like they have more richer neighborhood, more land, but where we live, like there is almost no property. So everybody like rich and poor, they live in the same neighborhood. Almost, even on the same block sometimes, right? It's very interesting. So, right. So, but you see, by other things, so he can deduce that how much, like, what is the average that people in this financial category give. So, meaning if she but if she said, look, I'm going to give you $20, and that's my husband approve of it. So no problem. He doesn't have to do investigation and call the husband. Can we call him and confirm? No, he can take. There is no problem. So in this case, like we trust the woman. Okay. So next one, case B. The parent taken from a child. Very interesting. As a general rule, the possession of the minor child supported by his parents are legal property of his father. Furthermore, if the father or the mother takes the child's possession, it is not considered stealing. However, the child received an inheritance or was given a gift on the condition that his father has no ownership of it, it becomes the exclusive property of a child. If parent takes from the inheritance or gift belong to a child, it is considered stealing. Okay, so let's see. Oh, very interesting. So let's see. So again, parents taken from a child. So since a parent is in some like under certain conditions must support their children, right? So meaning whatever children make, they have to give to father. Like some kids that they work for themselves. Mother and father have to work and pay for the rent, and they and pay for the food. And this child does not want to contribute. Yeah, you can you work full time. You can do shopping once a week. Something like pay electric bill, right? Your air conditioner runs on high, so pay like a quarter of the bill, like something for 1 week, like I don't know, something. Right, but sometimes children, maybe because parents are quiet, children do not understand on their own, so they think that parents owe them everything. That's create an issue. Okay, so let's see. So now parent takes from a child. As a general rule, the possessions of a minor child supported by a parents are legal property of the father. Meaning that if he gives a gifts like toys, so he can take these toys away. These toys never became like property of of the child. So child, like a minor is a boy under was it 13, a girl under 12. They cannot take possession of things, legal possession, and they cannot give out the possessions. Meaning they cannot sell things or give as a gift. Also common. So commenting. When parents buy clothing and other personal items for their child, the parent retains ownership of the item. So he's very, very clear. So even though he bought clothing, even though he bought toys, so if he decided, look, this child mistreats the things, I bought him this brand name or something, so now I'm going to go bring it back and buy regular stuff. Okay. So even though he gave it as a gift, he can take it back to the store. When relatives or friends, or even the parents themselves give a child a gift, the father becomes the legal owner of the gift to use at his discretion for the benefit of the child. Okay, so let's do sentence by sentence because it's separate ideas. So again, when relatives or friends or even a parent themselves give the child a gift, the father becomes legal ownership of the gift to use it at his discretion for the benefit of the child. So unless, as we said, this person, this grandfather from mother's side say, right, I don't want the luck, it's only for you, son, like grandson, hide it, I want you to buy ice cream for yourself every day in summer. Right? That's this money for. Right, so I don't want your father to take possession, so it's different. But otherwise, whatever people give money or something to a child, it actually belongs it belongs to the father, right? Because he's taking care of a child. Okay. So again, the father becomes the legal ownership of the owner of the gift. So meaning even if other people gave, to use it at his discretion. For the benefit of the child. So a child does not know, like, you give child money. He went to the store. I remember I went to the store to buy something, discount store. And this guy, the owner of the store, he was yelling at his boy. I don't know how old the boy, maybe 10, 11 years old. Non-Jewish, Baruch Hashem. He said, look, you're wasting all the money. You see this righteous guy. He said, you're wasting all your money. You came yesterday, you spent like $15 on, I don't know, something like stupid things. Now you come again, and you're like, right, save your money. Well, what are you doing? Right, so meaning if give a child the money, they did not know how to use it, but father would use for the child's benefit, right? So something that, for example, he cannot afford otherwise, or he did not plan to buy, but now with this extra money he can he can buy for a child. Even lost object which a child finds and is permitted to keep becomes property of the father. According to some poskim, the child wages and the profits also belongs to the parents. Okay, so let's again, there's two separate ideas. So again, even the lost object which a child finds is permitted to keep becomes property of the father. So it's actually a rabbinic enactment for several categories of people. I think it's for sure for a minor and for a deaf mute. Right, deaf mute for sure, right? So these two people, meaning they cannot take legal possession in a general sense, right? Of things, right? Because they're not like their mind is not developed enough to become full owner of the things. But I would say just say they're a great wisdom. So if we not allow like this child of this deaf mute to become owners of the lost article, like right, or like a hefker article, like ownerless article, so meaning that people would fight with them. People would say, oh, this guy is carrying something. Most likely he found it. Let me take it from him. Meaning this adult, a neighbor or something, someone is going to become owner. Like he take it from a child who cannot become an owner. So now he's an owner. So that's why our sages say, and what is going to happen next? The father of this boy is going to come to this guy, and they start the fight, and we know how this fight ends, right? So meaning our sages say a child, if he found something, picked it up, so his kinyan, like acquisition, is actually working. Right, so but it still belongs to the father. Why it belongs to the father? We said that he became owner, but becomes father property because father supports him. Right. And the next idea is you see in every sentence he has so much to say. According to some poskim, child wages and profits also belongs to the parent. Meaning, if a child is working, right, and he still stays with the family, and he sleeps there and he eats there, right, of course all of his wages belongs to the father, right? If child can afford his own place and right, even he's underage, so he does not have to give to the father. He can keep the wages. And in olden days, what does it mean? In olden days, like in it says in Talmud, I think we also learn in our class laws of tzedakah and maser that the father is obligated, absolutely obligated, to support his child and teach his Torah until 6 years old. After 6, he is not obligated. So meaning, since it was halacha, meaning the children were mature enough. So it's not it's not like crazy people. As for shalom, right? They knew that the child was mature enough, starting at 6 years old, to provide for himself. He could have worked, right? Handle the animals and the field and plow and stuff like that. It was different 6 years old than 6 years old today. Okay. All right. So okay, but then we said that something changed. So now we have to provide for a longer time after 6 years. But that has actually effect on halacha, since it is rabbinical, and we see like he's obligated to pay, not obligated to pay. Okay. So continue. Okay. So next sentence. Therefore, if father or mother takes their child possession, it is not considered to be stealing. So she said, okay, this bicycle I'm taking away from you. I'm going to, I don't know, whatever she's going to do, lock it in a garage or something. That's it. So because there's a punishment, it's not stealing. Continue. However, if child received the inheritance, or it was given a gift on a condition that the father has no ownership in it. So what does it mean? For example, a man dies and he left inheritance. Right? First, when somebody dies, first wife has a first lien. So she has a lien on whatever he has with your ksuba. So she gets first whatever full satisfaction of ksuba, whatever is it, and then whatever is left. Let's say there's something left. Is going to children. So let's say she got only standard ksuba, whatever was it, right? And a child has a lot of money, so mother cannot take from him money because he received it from inheritance from his father. So it's not her money, right? So wives usually do not have inheritance unless especially like separately specified in the will. Right, but otherwise it has go to the on this, what is it, on the father's side, on the father line of inheritance. So I mean, it will go to his brothers. His father is alive. His brothers, his father's brothers, his uncles. Okay. One second, because okay. So meaning if he has received an inheritance, even of course he's underage, so it's his. Or it was a gift given on condition that his father has no ownership of it. So that's, I gave example, the grandfather from the mother's side. You see, here's I don't know how much dollars, like so you can buy ice cream every week or every 3 days or something. Okay, so nobody can take from him this money, right? It becomes exclusive property of the child. So I mean, but those are like very rare cases, as we understand. So, and we have a commentary. Gifts given to a boy over the age of 13 or a girl over the age of 12 also are not supported, who are not supported by parents, belong to a child. According to some poskim, even if a child is over 13, is supported by the parents, the gifts they receive belongs to him. It's not so simple. So let's read and try to understand what it says. So meaning, okay, so let's see. Gifts given to a boy over the age of 13. So he's not, I mean, yes, he's a boy, but he's adult. In a legal sense, he's adult. He can buy things and sell things and give out things. Okay. I mean, as a gift. Gifts given over the or a girl over the age of 12 who are not supported by their parents belong to a child. So this is, as example, we said, 6 years old or whatever years old that they were working, they were supporting themselves, right? Maybe they would live in a father's house, for example, right? Still the children, and they pay their share of rent or something, right? And food or something, or he would eat separately. I don't know. I'm just saying, or he would pay separately from the foods. He would contribute by his share of food every week, for example, right? So meaning whatever money is left is his money or your money. There is no problem. Okay. And plus, as we said, they're adult. Okay. So if they adult, I mean, over the bar or bas mitzvah, and they can support themselves, so the gift that they received belongs to them, which makes sense. According to some poskim, even, so that's a scary one. Even if a child over 13 is supported by parents, his gifts he received belongs to him. So this some poskim say that since the child is an adult, right, and technically maybe parents are not obligated to support him. Technically, of course they are, but let's say they're not, right? So meaning, but they they're still doing it because of their goodwill. So meaning that he's adult, it's money is his gift, and it's not only monetary. Like any gift is his. So we understand this approach as well, of course. Okay. But proper would be like if he is still supported by a parent, so right, it should go to the parents. Okay. If parent takes from his inheritance, from the inheritance, or gives belong to a child, it is considered stealing. So of course, if with the consent of the child, so they say, look, your grandma left you, grandpa, whatever, left you such amount of money. It's very nice of you, Baruch Hashem, but we now need to buy a new washer machine, some dryer, something, I don't know. So if you wanted to contribute, the guy said, no, I prefer not to contribute, and I'm going to wash myself with the hands. Okay, you can do a hand wash and see how long you're going to survive. You understand? But they cannot just force it, take it from him, right? So considered to be stealing. Commentary: the father may not have taken the child's money to use for the child's benefit, may not, if the father's responsibility to pay for such a benefit. In such a cases, competent halachic authority should be consulted. Mm-hmm. So we had somebody, like acquaintance of ours, a long time ago, and of course they were religious, but what is his? I think it was her mother. Her mother, she was not very approve of their religion, right? Being religious. But she liked the grandkids, and when before she passed away, they did not know. So she composed the will. So everything should go not on them directly, but to children's education. So Baruch Hashem, I mean, to pay for yeshiva, well, it could be better. I mean, anyway, they have to pay for the yeshiva, so they pay. Of course, it was some kind of like a trusted account, like escrow account. I don't remember how it exactly worked, but right. So, but they did not get anything, exactly zero, parents. So even though they have to pay not only for yeshiva education, for other million and a half things, but okay. So since it was a will, right? So they cannot use any money like they want, but only for that specific purpose. So that's perfectly legal. So let me just quickly read it again. The father may not even take from a child's money for the use of a child's benefit, right? Right. So meaning they say, yeah, it's for your education, but now you need a new suit. Now you need a new dress and new shoes, right? So for sure it's for child benefit, no? If the father's responsibility to pay for such a benefits, right? So meaning the father's responsibility to dress them, right, appropriately. In such a cases, competent Halachic authority must be consulted. So let me quickly check time. Okay, so maybe let's do one more. Okay. Maybe two. So let's see. From an it's number 7, from an institution. The prohibition of stealing. Right. So okay. So we go through all of these different cases now from institution. So that's the biggest issue. The biggest issue that people think there is no problem. Right. The prohibition of stealing applies to property owners by institution such as yeshiva, shul, public chesed organization. For example, some yeshiva students were hungry. They land themselves into yeshiva's kitchen and help themselves to a midnight snack. They reason that since yeshiva belongs to Klal Israel, very interesting, any student who needs to eat is helping himself to Klal Israel food. However, the management of the institution is empowered to decide how the institution assets are to be used. If the management does not want the students to help themselves in food after they close the kitchen, those who do so in opposition of the will of the management are guilty of stealing. So I mean, I was expecting something different, but it's here is a more like in a religious sense, right? Not in general institution, some kind of company, right? Credit card company, like other things. But now we're talking about religious organization. So again, the prohibition of stealing applies to the property owned by institutions such as yeshiva. So yeshiva usually is not owned by one person, right? So there is usually a board of the people. Usually, I mean, of course, it depends on the yeshiva. It could be private yeshiva, of course, but if a lot of money, they can build their own yeshiva, right? Shul, right? Shul also it could be private shul, privately owned shul, or publicly chesed organization, right? So, but most shuls are not private, right? And public chesed organization. Okay, maybe also like I'm not sure there is a board of directors. I'm not sure how it's works. Okay, so again, for example, yeshiva students feels hungry. Yeshiva students, they're teenagers, right? Teenagers. I think they're always hungry. And right, I remember we had this like a guest as a teenager. He can eat like three times more than adult. Right, he's hungry. Right, that's normal in his age. Right, they let themselves into the yeshiva's kitchen and help themselves into the midnight snack. So they're hungry. They go to the kitchen. So they take whatever they want. So usually, actually, they lock refrigerators, right, with a lock, with a chain for sure. So meaning, right, of course, we have to understand because why? Because there is a meat in there. So in some people who work in the yeshiva and even in the kitchen, not Jews. So right, so meat always must be under control. Okay, so usually they lock, but let's say it's not meat as some other things, right? And they're hungry and then went there. The reason that since the yeshiva belongs to Klal Israel, right? To nation of Israel. Any student who needs to eat belongs helping himself to Klal Israel food. So meaning it's everybody's food. So like almost healthcare. So of course people like not people, children, they do not understand. Sometimes it's adults like do not understand. It says it's free. It's free. Yeah, it's free, but somebody paying for it. But you know how much this thing costs in what is it in a store? Yeah, I know it's a lot. So yeah, but just somebody is giving you something for free. It's not for free. That person paid for it. That's how you're getting it, right? So some people have no concept, right? And food costs a lot of money, right? And this issue, they have a budget, so they cannot. So they have some ratio, some portions, like how like they know how many students. Of course, maybe some they calculate maybe 15% more, like maybe some like 20%. I don't know, something like they have their own calculation. Like if some extra gas is going to be like something, but that's it. That's where it stops, right? That's where it stops. But now if they have is going, these kids are going to have extra meal. That's a problem. That's a problem, right? So it's not Klal Israel. It's not nobody's like it costs a lot of money, and Yeshiva has a budget, and they said no. However, if the management of the institution is empowered to decide how the institution assets are being used, so we said that we're going to feed you like 3 times a day, right, and some snacks, and that's it. So at night, and there's limited food. So if you need more, go buy some snacks. Okay. If the management does not want students to help themselves with food after they close the kitchen, those who do so in opposition to the will of the management is guilty of stealing. It's 100%. Yeah, it's my yeshiva. Yes, I've been here for a long time. Yeah, it's right. That's what it is. I have a clip about it, about this Chabadnik that took me to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the oil, right? And then he was crying. I had the clip, like I see that it was yesterday. So he gave me a piece of paper, pen, and a pencil. They don't have like pencil. Write. So what should I write? Everything that you want in this life, and Rebbe would fulfill. And I said, look, I don't know what to write. It was young, naive. I don't know, not naive, whatever. I'm not so young. I said, I don't need anything. I don't know, what should I need? I don't need anything. So he said, no, you must write something. So I wrote some, whatever. We went to the Rebbe. We prayed. He cried like non-stop. And other people cried. And they pray. And I was maybe it was midnight or something. I was not crying. Like I feel like defective. Like how come I cannot cry? Everybody, like this guy crying. I had to offer him napkin because of, right, everything was streaming down, right? Then he finished crying. He said, "Okay, let's go home. We're going home," and he said, "Let's go have some tea." I said, "Oh, tea? Okay, let's go have tea." So yeah, somebody's sponsoring, and we come to make myself cup of tea, and this guy start taking these tea packets, right? Tea like individual packs, like they're very expensive. I would not buy them so like for my house. Like it's like $5, $6 a pack, like 20 of them. They're very expensive, like top brand. I don't remember what was like. One of course you can make yourself tea. That's what it's for. But to put in a packet, right? I say it's not problem. Like he said, no, we got here for free. Like, and he takes the bag from his pocket and started putting cookies. They're famous. I tried the cookies. I think it's very nice. So some bakery brings a box of cookies, but again, for the people to eat them, not to take home. Like he said, no, I'm going to give people insurance. It was too much of a shock for me for one day, basically. I had a clip about it. Still remember this. Like, how can you cry and be so so spiritual in my eyes? Yeah, young guy, right? Like so spiritual, then still like even I understood without a lot of Torah knowledge. I understand it is stealing. They did not put this cookie in this tea like for people to take home. Drink there and eat there, yeah, no problem. That's that's the sensitivity that we have to have, right? All right, so let's stop here, take 5 minutes break, and we're going to continue with other topics. 5 minutes.